Christian Horner has some sharp words for George Russell after the Brit-fed rumours surrounding a wave of Red Bull team departures. And to add to his problems, there have been whispers of Aston Martin preparing a billion-dollar deal to steal Max Verstappen away from him. Plenty to unpack today. So, let's get started. The negative press for Red Bull gained traction after two high-profile exits. Legendary engineer Adrian Newey, who is heading to Aston Martin, and sporting director Jonathan Wheatley set to join Sauber in 2024. Following these moves, Red Bull's troubles started to surface on track. From the Spanish Grand Prix onward, McLaren and Ferrari emerged as consistent frontrunners, leaving Red Bull struggling to keep up. Adding fuel to the fire, McLaren CEO Zak Brown claimed his team had been inundated with CVs from Red Bull staff, hinting at an alleged mass exodus. Red Bull dismissed the claims as baseless, but Mercedes driver George Russell stirred the pot further, suggesting that Max Verstappen's attitude within the team might be a factor pushing employees toward rival outfits. At the 2024 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Russell said, "I'm not questioning his driving abilities one single bit, but the second he does not have the fastest car, let's take Budapest as an example, he crashes into Lewis, he slams his whole team, and he loses the plot." Straight away after that race, 25% of his engineering team were sending their CVs to Mercedes, to McLaren, to Aston Martin, because they said they can't deal with a guy like that. To this, Christian Horner says, "I'd be more worried about other issues if I was George. I don't know where he thinks and who he thinks they were offering their services to, but all the key people have made long-term commitments to the company. If you look at people like Giampiero Lambiase and the key members of the engineering team, they are all on long-term contracts. One of the less pleasant sides of the business is the lengths that will be gone to try and capitalise on other issues in other teams. I've said it before, but the higher you rise, the sharper the knives, and they got pretty sharp at some points during 2024. But when there is so much at stake, other teams will use whatever tools they have to try and destabilise what has been a hugely successful team. The higher you rise, the sharper the knives indeed. Horner is allegedly in danger of losing his star driver. Max Verstappen is attracting increasing interest from Aston Martin F1 for a potential future collaboration, sparking speculation about his next career move. The Dutch sensation has repeatedly expressed his loyalty to Red Bull, the team with which he has claimed 4 consecutive F1 titles. However, with sweeping technical regulations set to debut in 2026, overhauling the aerodynamic and chassis landscape, the certainty of Red Bull maintaining its championship dominance is far from guaranteed. Aston Martin is reportedly crafting an ambitious plan to lure Max Verstappen away from Red Bull, according to the Daily Mail. Backed by billionaire owner Lawrence Stroll, Aston Martin has poured significant resources into its resurgence, including the construction of a cutting-edge facility at Silverstone. Given Verstappen's dominant form and status as a 4-time F1 champion, it's no shock that the 27-year-old is catching the eye of rival teams. The Daily Mail claims that Aston Martin owner Lawrence Stroll is seeking to raise £1 billion from new investors, with Jefferson Slack, one of Stroll's trusted allies, pitching Verstappen as a future centrepiece of the team. According to the Daily Mail, Max Verstappen's current annual earnings of £50 million could be dwarfed by a name-your-price offer if he decides to follow Adrian Newey to Aston Martin. The report speculates that this figure could soar as high as £200 million per year, with an unnamed source quoted as saying, "Jefferson, or Jeff as others know him, has been going around saying that Max is going to be joining Aston Martin. It may be a ploy, adding extra value to the deal he wants to do, but bringing Max in also makes perfect sense. They have signed Adrian Newey on £20 million a year as the greatest car designer of all time, and Lawrence won't let that be the extent of it. He has said he wants to win the world title, and he won't let anything stand in his way. He wants to end the dominant era headed by Christian Horner at Red Bull and Toto Wolff at Mercedes." Adrian is believed to think that Lance Stroll, son of owner Lawrence, is not a good enough driver, and that Fernando Alonso, being 43, is too old. Adrian is determined to make a success of himself yet again and wants to work with the best. They gave Adrian a shareholding to get him over from Red Bull, and they could conceivably do the same with Max. This bold strategy follows Aston Martin's high-profile recruitment of legendary car designer Adrian Newey from Red Bull, with Newey set to begin his role on March 3rd. The team has also strengthened its lineup with the addition of Enrico Cardile and the appointment of Andy Cowell as team principal, signalling its ambitions for the 2026 season powered by Honda engines. If Aston Martin succeeds in wooing Verstappen, the Dutchman could reportedly earn up to £200 million per season on a blockbuster 5-year contract. But just as quickly as these rumours gained traction, they were quickly shot down. Aston Martin has dismissed claims that they are preparing a £1 billion deal to sign 4-time F1 world champion Max Verstappen. The team reaffirmed their commitment to current drivers Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll, both under contract until the end of 2026. The Alonso-Stroll duo has played a key role in securing back-to-back fifth-place finishes in the Constructors' Championship, with Adrian Newey set to begin his tenure later this year and team operations now led by new principal Andy Cowell. Aston Martin appears poised for a promising future. Addressing the speculation, a team spokesperson clarified that Aston Martin is not leveraging Verstappen's name to attract sponsors. Max Verstappen's future with Red Bull seemed uncertain at times during the 2024 F1 season, especially as Mercedes boss Toto Wolff openly expressed interest in bringing him on board as a potential successor to the retiring Lewis Hamilton, who is making the move to Ferrari this year. Despite the turbulence surrounding Red Bull, Verstappen weathered the storm to clinch his 4th world championship. The Dutchman recently reaffirmed his commitment to the team, stating he hopes to see out his career with the Milton Keynes-based squad. "It is not like I need to try to win the world championship somewhere else," said Verstappen. "That is not a desire from my side. I am just happy where I am at. And it would also be very beautiful if you just could stay with one team and race there forever. I would like to believe that could be with Red Bull. That is the target. Am I bothered about a legacy? I don't value my success because of what other people say. If I am happy, that is all that matters. In sport, you also need a bit of luck to be in the right team for a long time. It doesn't mean that the guy with the most titles is actually the best." Max Verstappen has made it clear that his future in Formula One could hinge on how he adapts to the new regulations set to take effect next season. With the sport moving towards increased electrification, the removal of the MGUK, and sweeping chassis and aero changes, the driving experience is set to undergo a significant transformation. Verstappen has warned that if he doesn't enjoy the feel of the new cars under these regulations, he may not stick around for the long haul, leaving the door open for a potential exit from the sport. But what about Max's boss? Christian Horner has firmly stated that he never, ever considered stepping away from Formula One, despite the scandal that rocked him and his Red Bull team ahead of the 2024 season. The team was thrown into turmoil when allegations of inappropriate and controlling behaviour surfaced against the 51-year-old Briton. Horner vehemently denied the accusations, and after an internal investigation, he was cleared of any wrongdoing. The allegations were related to his interactions with a female colleague, who later saw her appeal dismissed. The controversy surrounding Horner threatened to destabilise Red Bull and ignited political unrest within the team, with Max Verstappen's father, Jos, even calling for Horner's resignation. Despite the turbulence, Horner has stood firm in his commitment to the team. "It certainly was a very challenging year," Horner told Planet F1. "There was a lot to deal with, but we always remained focused on track. Obviously, we've had a few changes in the team as well, but we're evolving for the future, and I think we're in good shape for that. My passion has always been the competition. That's what I get out of bed for. Once a racer, always a racer. When the lights go out, that's what it's all about." Despite the on- and off-track challenges facing Red Bull, Christian Horner emphasised that he never once considered stepping down from his role. "I've never, ever had that thought cross my mind, to be honest with you." Before we part ways, I have a question for you. Is the core group of Max Verstappen and Christian Horner capable of dominating the sport like they did the past few years? Or is it time to break it up? Tell us your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.